Welcome to the Showdown at the Pedal Porch. This week we have the Pelican Noiseworks Pelitaur against the Walrus Contraband. These are both fuzz pedals, but they're fairly different functionally. The Contraband, I'll start with that just because it's the simplest. It's a single knob fuzz. It doesn't have a crazy amount of gain on tap for a fuzz pedal, but it's pretty gainy and compressed. When the knob is at midnight, you actually tend to lose some overall level. So we'll see that you saw that as I was going through the demos. And then it has this thick and thin switch. Both the pickups I use for these demos are single coils, and so I tend to leave it on the thick setting. The thin setting basically just cuts some of the low end. So you might use that, because a lot of times with fuzz pedals, if you use humbuckers or pickups with a lot of low end, that can just completely dominate the sound and feedback easier and things like that. So I think that's the main reason they have that in there. The Pellet-A-R is, we know it, we love it. It's an amazing pedal. It's two fuzz circuits in one. The knobs are labeled to mimic a Klon Centaur, but basically the way the knobs work, the output knob is basically like an output level knob. The gain knob is like a blend switch between the two fuzz circuits. When you turn it all the way counterclockwise, it's kind of the sputtery gated fuzz. If you turn it all the way clockwise, you get kind of a more smooth mid-scooped fuzz. And then, everywhere in between. And then the treble control is like a tone control, and it's basically the inverse. It's controlling both the tone of both fuzz circuits, but it's basically the inverse of each other. So if we were to turn it all the way down here, it would sort of be the maximum amount of treble from one circuit and the maximum amount of bass from the other circuit. And I'm not sure if it's actually boosting or cutting, if it's just like like a tone circuit on your guitar where it's just a low pass filter and it's choosing the level. It seems to almost boost some of the low end when you turn it in the one direction, but I'm not positive about that. But because of that, it gives you a ton of tonal or soundal variety. And I'll maybe so like I said, if you turn it one direction all the way, you're basically just getting one fuzz circuit. And so I'm going to do that and show you kind of the extremes of the gain and the treble control, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it's doing at the extremes, and then it kind of helps you understand better what it's doing in the middle. So I don't know if you could tell, but when you have the knobs kind of pointed in opposite directions, like here, for example, this is kind of where I normally have it set when I have it on my board. You get kind of a more bass-heavy fuzz when the knobs are pointed in the opposite direction. In the extreme case, this is the one circuit with the tone turned all the way up on that circuit, and this is the same thing but on the other circuit. So when the knobs are in the same direction, especially at an extreme, you're going to get a lot more treble heavy tone. If they're in opposite directions like this or like that, you'll get a little bit more bass. And again, there's not a lot to say about the Contraband. It's a cool fuzz. I mean, it's really simple. I like the simplicity of it. But as far as feature-wise, there's not a whole lot left to say.